There is a moment almost every one of us has lived through. You make a decision. A quiet one. Maybe you stopped calling someone back. Maybe you left a job everyone thought was safe. Maybe you simply changed, and people noticed before you even said a word. And then it comes. The question. The look. The comment dressed up as concern. Why would you do that? For a second, your whole body wants to answer. You want to list your reasons, defend your choice, hand over proof that you are not selfish, not lazy, not wrong. You open your mouth. And then, something in you pauses. What if you didn't explain? What if for the first time in your life, you let the silence stand exactly where the explanation used to go? That single pause is where power begins. Real power. Not the loud kind. Not the kind that argues in comment sections or wins arguments at dinner tables. The quiet kind. The kind the old Stoics spent their whole lives trying to master, because they understood something most of us are never taught. Somewhere along the way, we were taught the opposite. We were taught that a good person explains, that silence looks suspicious, that if you truly have nothing to hide, you owe everyone a reason. So we gave those reasons over and over to people who never once returned the favor. Every time you explain yourself to someone who was never going to accept the answer, you hand them a piece of your peace. You hand them control. And you do it for free. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth, and still, people doubted him, mocked him behind closed doors, questioned his choices as a leader and as a man. He never spent his nights writing speeches to defend himself. He wrote to himself instead, not to convince anyone, just to remember who he was. That is where we are going today. 10 rules. 10 quiet, unshakable ways to stop explaining, stop performing, and start standing in your own life, the way a fortress stands in a storm, without apology, without noise, without needing anyone's permission to simply be who you are. By the time we reach the end, something in you is going to shift. You will start noticing how much of your energy has been spent proving yourself to people who never intended to be convinced. And you will start taking that energy back. Let's begin. Rule 1. Your life is not a trial, so stop presenting evidence. Picture a courtroom, a judge behind a high desk, a jury watching every word, and you, standing in the middle, holding a folder of proof. Proof that you work hard, proof that your choices make sense, proof that you deserve to be understood. Now picture carrying that folder everywhere you go, to dinners, to phone calls, to family gatherings, opening it every time someone raises an eyebrow at your life. Exhausting, isn't it? And yet this is how so many people move through the world, always ready to defend, always prepared to justify, living as if somewhere, someone is keeping score, and one bad explanation could cost them everything. The Stoics rejected this completely. Epictetus taught that a person's worth is not decided by how well they can argue their case to others. It is decided by how closely their actions match their own values. Nobody needs a verdict from a jury that was never going to be fair in the first place. The next time you feel that old pull to defend yourself, pause. Ask one simple question. Am I explaining because it matters, or because I am afraid of what happens if I don't? Most of the time, the answer will surprise you. Rule 2. Calm is a weapon most people never learn to use. Have you noticed how some people seem to need your reaction the way a fire needs air? The moment you stay calm, they push harder, raise their voice, repeat themselves louder, as if volume were truth. Why? Because your emotional reaction was the entire goal. Not the conversation, not the truth. Your reaction. Think of a lake on a windless day. Drop a stone into it, and the ripple fades quickly, because the water underneath is already still. But drop that same stone into water that is already churning, and it turns into chaos. Your mind works the same way. The Stoics understood something most people never stop to consider. No one can take your peace without your permission, not with words, not with insults, not even with silence used as a weapon against you. That means the calm you carry into a difficult conversation is not weakness, it is discipline. It is proof that your peace does not belong to whoever is loudest in the room. The next time someone tries to provoke you, ask yourself this: if I stay calm right now, who actually loses? Almost never you. Rule 3. Stop announcing your growth. Become it instead. There is an old habit many of us fall into without noticing. We tell people what we are about to do before we have actually done it. We announce the diet, the new job search, the fresh start, the changed man or woman we are becoming, long before any of it is real. And then, if it doesn't happen fast enough, we feel the need to explain that too. Imagine planting a tree and digging it up every morning, just to check if the roots are growing. It would never survive long enough to stand on its own. Marcus Aurelius never measured his days by how many people approved of him. He measured them by one quiet question: did I become slightly better than I was yesterday? That is the only scoreboard that matters. Let your actions carry the weight your words used to carry. People can argue with your promises. They cannot argue with 6 months of consistency sitting quietly in front of them. Rule 4. Approval is the most expensive habit you will ever carry. Imagine walking through each day, holding an empty cup, and handing it to everyone you meet, hoping they will fill it. A compliment fills it a little. A cold comment drains it completely. By the end of the day, your entire mood has been decided by people who barely thought about you twice. This is exactly what Seneca warned against centuries ago. The moment your peace depends on applause, you are no longer a free person. You are a performer, waiting for the next round of approval just to feel steady. Confidence does not ask, "Do you like what I chose?" Confidence says, "I thought about this carefully, and I am willing to live with what comes next." That single shift changes everything. Because once you stop needing the cup filled by strangers, nobody can empty it either. Rule 5. You do not control the story people tell about you, so stop trying to edit it. Every person who has ever met you carries a slightly different version of you inside their head. To one person, you are inspiring. To another, you are distant. To someone who has never even spoken to you directly, you are simply a rumor shaped by second-hand opinions. Which version are you supposed to spend your life correcting? None of them, because none of them are actually yours to control. Epictetus taught something that still holds true today. Peace begins the moment you separate what belongs to you from what belongs to other people. Your character belongs to you. Their opinion of it belongs entirely to them. Once that separation becomes real in your mind, something heavy finally lifts off your shoulders. You stop chasing every misunderstanding. You stop correcting every rumor whispered behind your back. You stop spending your emotional energy trying to rewrite a story you were never the only author of. Your job was never to control what people think of you. Your only job is to keep becoming the person you actually want to be. Quietly, consistently, without needing a single soul to sign off on it first. Think about someone in your own life who never explains themselves, who simply moves forward no matter who is watching or judging. Notice how much respect that person commands without ever raising their voice. That is not an accident. That is what happens when a person finally stops narrating their life for an audience and starts actually living it. And this is only the beginning. Because staying calm once, saying no once, letting go once, that is easy compared to what real Stoic power actually demands of you. The next 5 rules go deeper. They are about what happens when the people testing your boundaries do not stop after the first try, when the silence you chose gets mistaken for weakness, and when your peace gets tested not for a day, but for months. That is where most people break. That is exactly where the next part of this journey begins. Rule 6. Boundaries do not need a paragraph. They need a period. There is a word most people struggle to say cleanly, not a complicated word, just 2 letters. No, instead of saying it plainly, we dress it up. I'm so sorry, I just have a lot going on right now. I really wish I could, but maybe another time. We hope that if the explanation is long enough, kind enough, detailed enough, nobody will feel hurt by it. But here is what actually happens. The longer you explain, the more room you leave for someone to negotiate. They search your reasons for a weak spot. They push against the softest part of your sentence, hoping it gives way. The Stoics understood something about boundaries that most of us have never been taught. A boundary does not grow stronger the longer you explain it. It grows stronger the moment you stop. Marcus Aurelius could not run an empire while trying to keep every single person content with his decisions. He accepted a hard truth early. Every meaningful choice disappoints someone. That is not failure. That is simply the price of having a spine. So the next time you need to set a limit, say it plainly. Say it without cruelty, but without a paragraph of justification either. Then let the silence that follows do the rest of the work. Rule 7. The person who controls your emotions is quietly controlling you. Some people are not looking for a conversation. They are looking for a reaction. A raised voice. A flinch. Proof that they still have power over how you feel. Epictetus compared life to a stage play. You do not choose every scene handed to you. You do not choose your fellow actors, but you always choose how you perform your part. Picture someone trying to hand you something heavy, an insult, an accusation, a cruel comment, and picture yourself simply not reaching out to take it. If you never accept the weight, it never becomes yours to carry. It simply stays in their hands, because they were the ones who brought it. That is not coldness. That is ownership. Ownership of the one thing nobody can legally or morally take from you, unless you agree to hand it over, which is your own state of mind. Anyone can react in the heat of the moment. Very few people can pause long enough to choose their response instead. And in a world that rewards instant outrage, that pause has become one of the rarest forms of strength a person can carry. Rule 8. Let time say what you refuse to say out loud. Underneath the soil, a seed does not announce that it is growing. For days, sometimes weeks, nothing visible happens at all. And yet beneath the surface, roots are spreading in directions no one can see. Your own growth works the same way. When you start changing, do not expect applause right away. People remember who you used to be far longer than they notice who you are becoming. Some will roll their eyes. Some will quietly bet against you. Some will even tell you, kindly or not, that you have changed for the worse. The instinct is to defend yourself immediately, to list every reason your change is justified. The Stoic instinct is different. Keep growing anyway. Let the results speak on a timeline of their own choosing. Marcus Aurelius did not spend his mornings wondering how many senators approved of him that week. He asked one quiet question at the start of each day. Am I becoming a slightly better version of the man I was yesterday? If your habits improve, if your discipline holds, if your character quietly strengthens month after month, eventually reality does the explaining for you, and it does it far more convincingly than any argument you could ever construct in the moment. Stop rushing to prove your future today. Let it arrive, and let it introduce you. Rule 9. Your attention is the most valuable currency you own, so stop spending it for free. Imagine starting each morning with exactly 10 coins, not dollars. Units of focus, energy, attention. Every difficult conversation costs a coin. Every argument with someone determined not to listen costs another. Every hour spent replaying an old conflict in your head, wondering what you should have said differently, costs even more. By the end of most days, all 10 coins are gone, and almost none of them were spent on anything that actually moved your life forward. The Stoics treated attention as one of the most valuable resources a person could protect, because wherever your attention flows, your life eventually follows it too. If your best energy goes into proving yourself to people who were never going to be convinced, there is nothing left over to actually build the life you are trying so hard to defend. Ask yourself honestly, how many nights have you lost replaying a conversation that is already over? How many hours have gone into wondering what someone thinks of you? Someone who likely stopped thinking about it within minutes? Now imagine redirecting even half of that energy towards something that actually belongs to you. Learning something new, building something that matters, sitting quietly with people who never needed an explanation from you in the first place. Protect your attention the way you would protect anything you cannot easily replace, because you can't. Rule 10. Let your life become the only explanation you ever give again. Picture 2 lamps sitting in a dark room. The first one flickers loudly, practically begging to be noticed, insisting on its own brightness. The second lamp says nothing at all. It simply burns, steady and warm, and somehow it is the one people are drawn toward without knowing exactly why. That is the difference between a person who performs their worth and a person who simply lives it. Marcus Aurelius never tried to convince the empire that he was a wise ruler. He focused entirely on becoming one. Seneca did not spend his years trying to appear wise in front of an audience. He quietly practiced wisdom instead, in the small, unnoticed decisions no one was watching. Epictetus never demanded respect from the world around him. He extended it to himself first, and the world eventually caught up. That is the pattern every one of them shared. They did not build their lives around what other people thought. They built their lives around a small set of principles they refused to abandon, no matter who was watching or who approved. Think honestly about your own life for a moment. How much of your energy has gone into explaining yourself to people who had already decided what they believed about you long before you opened your mouth? How many decisions were delayed because you were waiting for a permission that was never actually theirs to give? Here is the truth that tends to change people the moment it finally lands. The people who genuinely matter in your life were never asking for constant explanations, and the people who demand them endlessly usually would not be satisfied no matter how long or how carefully you explained yourself. Your responsibility was never to manage what other people believe about you. Your only real responsibility is to manage the one thing you actually have full control over, which is your own character. When your values are clear, your decisions become clear along with them. When your decisions are clear, your confidence stops needing outside validation to hold steady. And when your confidence no longer needs validation, you stop explaining, because your life has quietly started speaking for you instead. The next time someone questions a decision you have already made peace with, pause, take a slow breath. Remember that you do not owe the room a performance. You do not have to win every disagreement. You do not have to answer every doubt aimed in your direction. Your peace is worth more than being understood by people who were never trying to understand you in the first place. Walk forward the way the Stoics did, quietly, deliberately, without needing applause to know you are on the right path. Build instead of boasting. Act instead of arguing. Grow instead of constantly proving. And remember this, because it is worth carrying with you long after this video ends. The strongest people you will ever meet are rarely the ones with the sharpest comeback ready in every conversation. They are simply the ones who no longer feel the need to explain themselves at all. If even one of these 10 rules found its way into you today, that is exactly the kind of quiet growth we build together here. So if this found you at the right moment, take a second and like this video. It helps this channel reach someone else who needs to hear it today. Share it with the one person in your life who always over-explains themselves and deserves to feel this kind of peace too. And if you want more of this, more Stoic wisdom built for real life, not just theory, subscribe to Stoic Origin so you never miss the next one. Until then, protect your peace, guard your mind, and let your life, not your words, speak for who you really are.